have another topic to discuss here. This one is on the subject of Daniel Bryan. He has been making some waves on social media lately because he's been on Instagram posting videos of him working out in preparation for a return to WWE. Also, once the news broke that Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, and the rest of the guys from New Japan could be possibly jumping ship to WWE, he was on Twitter trying to get WWE's attention and saying that they should clear him and hurry up and get him back to the ring. And as I said earlier on in the show, desperate times calls for desperate measures. Daniel Bryan is out on an injury right now. And it's kind of weird because it's funny because we have so many people on the WWE roster dropping like flies, and we're looking at Daniel Bryan, who at this point right now is out with an injury of his own.
Oh, it's not.
People, you don't think so? No.
I agree with him. They're swerving us.
This is some kind of conspiracy?
No, it's not a conspiracy. It's very simple. He's not out with an injury. When he got out, it was because of a concussion. And he's had a series of concussions, and he's been to several doctors, and these guys are scared shitless to clear him because they think that something's going to happen on their watch with Daniel Bryan.
Oh, so you're saying it's not part of the story? I think it is.
No, there's no way it's part of the story because if they were ready to bring him back, they would have brought him back. They don't have any big plans for Daniel Bryan, so it's not like they're going to save him. They just bring him back whenever they need him. He's that guy for them. So if they could have, and if they were willing, he would have been brought back by now. But I think they're really terrified. And I think Daniel Bryan posting this shit doesn't mean he's coming back. I think he's trying to stir up something because he's infuriated that they're not bringing him back. And he's just in limbo. And I think they're terrified. And I honestly am very pessimistic about this. I think he's going to end up asking for his release, and they're going to grant it to him. I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh, my God.
I've been listening to interviews that Daniel Bryan has been doing, and I don't want to... I'm quite sure the people, like, they use their own deductive reasoning. They use their own brain skills, to come up with their own thoughts on the issue. But I've been reading a lot of interviews with Daniel Bryan, and I've been hearing that he's been saying out of his own mouth that WWE is looking for different positions in the company for him. I heard something about a commentator. I know for sure he said that they offered him a position as a trainer down at the Performance Center in Florida. And what that tells me is that, at least from WWE's perspective, Daniel Bryan is retired, medically retired from competing in the ring. And that kind of, I was taken aback by that a little bit because it seems as if they have their minds made up. This dude is not coming back at all. And anytime that I hear Daniel Bryan say anything, he's saying that his wrestling career is not over. Point blank period, end of discussion. While he may never compete in another WWE match, his wrestling career is not over. And it's such a weird situation to be in because with him doing all of this stuff on social media, it puts WWE into a friggin' terrible position because all of these fans are looking at WWE and they're looking at him saying, I'm ready to come back. Why won't they clear me? Everybody is looking at WWE like, what the fuck is going on? Why won't you clear this guy? He wants to be in the ring. He's ready to go. But I'm just hoping that people look at this objectively and don't just say, oh, hey, I'm a Daniel Bryan fan and he says he's ready to go. So WWE, you're fools for not putting him in the ring. Because like Steven said, they could legitimately be looking out for his best interest as far as the health goes.
I don't think they're looking out for his interest. I think they're looking out for their interest. They don't. This is another Kurt Angle situation. They don't want this guy to fucking die on their watch or get like a. They have enough scandal with concussions. I don't think it's their fault, but it's not. I think both parties are telling the truth. I think Daniel Bryan could wrestle. I think he's probably in great health right now, as far as like functionally being able to perform. There's nothing holding him back, but it's just he's gone through so many concussions that they're so scared that it's going to happen again, and then they're going to be responsible for it, and that's a risk they don't seem willing to take. And it was the same thing with Kurt Angle when they released him. They just said this guy's health is not something we want to be liable for, so I think it will go that route. I think he's not going to take another position. He doesn't want to be a commentator. It sounds like he doesn't want to be a trainer. He wants to wrestle. He's fucking nuts. He does crazy moves even though he knows that he shouldn't. Now, last I heard, he was trying to make a compromise with them about returning, which could work. If he says, okay, look, I'm not going to do the diving headbutt. I'm going to make my style different. I could see them saying, okay, in that case, we'll bring you back out. So I'm not saying there's no chance. If he commits to a totally different style, no more high flying, no more like high impact moves, just pure submission sort of based mat wrestling, then it could work, because I think it's his head that's the problem. Of course, I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is just from everything that I've heard. So it could be that they make a compromise, but I really think they don't want to bring him back, and I'm afraid that it might just end up being, he says, look, I want to go wrestle elsewhere, give me my release, and they're going to grant it, because they have a history of doing that.
With a guy like Daniel Bryan, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I don't think
Kurt Angle is worth more than Daniel Bryan.
I don't see this.
But here's the thing, though. In this climate today, WWE releasing Daniel Bryan, that dude will be covered with so many fucking layers of dust before they ever let him go.
Well, look, he can go anyway. CM Punk showed that this no compete thing is a sham. There's nothing there.
But they're completely opposites, because Bryan is not a guy that's willing to give up easily. Like, this is the guy that 2 years ago overcame all odds and had his WrestleMania moment. I feel like, if anything, it might be a similar path to what it was 2 years ago around this time, where WWE kind of had to force their hand in giving Bryan what he wanted. This might be another situation like that this year, where it may lead to a possible Bryan return because of the fact that he has a social media movement and everything else behind him. Like, think about it. WWE, like Jay said, would be negatively affected by this, because if you don't have Bryan on TV, and let's say it does leak out the information that he's ready to go, but WWE is holding him back, wouldn't that necessarily force their hand and have to bring him back to build more of reputation for the company? And also,
no, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be a big
because
problem.
Here's the thing: as long as he's not on TV, he'll be off of a lot of people's minds, because they'll see it as like a lost cause. Because WWE will run into an issue if they bring him back, and people are like, really? "Oh shit." Daniel Bryan is a possibility, and then they go crazy for him. But if they keep him off of TV, we'll get a Daniel Bryan chant every now and again. Shit, we just got one a few weeks on Raw. We didn't get one this week. We're not going to get one next week. So it's not going to reach a fever pitch like this thing with Daniel Bryan. So I'll put it like this. WWE, as long as he's sitting on the sidelines, they'll never be in a position where people force them to bring him back on TV. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't work that way.
So then what about after the Rumble? Not even after the Rumble? You guys don't think it's possible? Like, let's say they keep him out of the Rumble.
I still think it's possible that he'll come back in the Rumble. Because they're stupid. They're not keeping him out of the Rumble just because he's going to overshadow Reigns. Because if they were thinking that, they would never have put him in the one last year.
True.
And they didn't learn their lesson from the year before, so they didn't learn their lesson this time. So it's not that. It's just that they're scared. And like I said, he could come back. Like, they could negotiate something with his ring style. But I really think like it's really up in the air, and I think at this point it's more likely that he's just gonna leave the company, and he's the type of guy who will do that. And he can get away with it because CM Punk showed, and so did Del Rio, that this no compete clause that they have is worth absolutely nothing. They could, in any court battle, they will win. So there's not a problem, I don't think.